Well, hey there, folks. Welcome back. I guess. I stole that intro from that funny dude over here, just because I find all ordinary sausage videos to be kind of funny. And not to mention, kind of a bit of an inspirational how I'm doing my format here, because quite frankly, I don't have any other way to make my videos at the moment, so we're just kind of rolling with. So as you guys can see in front of you right now, we have the Transformers I still have no idea how to pronounce that word. Now, I'm not going to be talking a whole lot about, well, actually I probably will later on in the video, but basically, we have here the collab of Transformers and Godzilla. Finally, after so many years, these two forces finally unite together in official product, and well, we got this. But I'm not ungrateful, but the point is, some people did find this to be a bit lacking. Therefore, that brings us to the DNA Designs upgrade kits for the Optimus Kiryu Prime, the totally not Grimlock Megatron Godzilla, and that little guy you saw up there in the front, Jet Strike Iron Defender, aka Now, I'm going to go over each of these boxes that are brought to us by DNA Designs that we got from Big Bad Toy Store and the Show's E-Store. So, yeah, I kind of wanted to get these as soon as I can, and it took a while for this guy to finally arrive, and it came. So now, we make video. So for this video, we're pretty much going to be doing a bit of an slight unboxing and first impressions, but mostly a how-to tutorial on how to put these things together. And in the meantime, I might kind of give you my thoughts on the whole thing overall. But first, let us begin with this little dude. So here before us, we have the Jet Strike Iron Defender, or obviously just Jet Jaguar. Now, I wanted to get this guy out of the way because, quite frankly, he's pretty much a completely standalone unique figure that you could get from the guys from DNA Designs. Now, this guy, as you can see, is pretty much a heavy retool of Wheelie, the little car dude that you would see in the Studio Series Grimlock from the '86 movie, and I guess now the Generation 2 Grimlock figure. But obviously he's been retooled and pretty much just painted and shaped to be a little Jet Jaguar. And as you could, if you didn't notice before, he comes with Spears of Anguirus. Now, I got two. I don't entirely know why I did, but basically we have the normal version and the gold. Pure gold! Now, I've never owned any 86 mold of Grimlock, so I'm just going to assume that he articulates about pretty much the same as a Wheelie would. The only issue that I'm having with my copy is that the head articulation, like the ball joint of his neck, is absurdly tight. Like, I genuinely am a little cautious about turning his head in almost any direction. But this does not really affect his transformation, which is pretty solid. And his overall articulation for his body, really impressive for something of his size. Like, I would dare say that this guy is basically like an excellent modern day Minicon. Like, if you guys remember that stuff from the old Armada days. But yeah, we're gonna transform him. I have no idea if I'm actually gonna film the whole transformation sequence, because that feels a bit difficult, but I guess we could try. Okay, doing this for the first time, I have that much more respect for pretty much every Transformers reviewer that I've ever seen. Oh, supposed to move this forward, I think. Oh, what? This goes. Oh, this pegs into. Oh, there are things that peg into there. Okay, that works. Wait, you guys want me to turn the head now? Okay, I am somebody who has, like, transformed a bunch of things over the decades, and this unlocked a whole new challenge for me, and I find that really funny. Oh, peg in? Peg in. God, now I know exactly how Cottontail VA feels about... Did I really just say that out loud? And here we have the car mode. It is... Sorry, that is shiny. And, okay, yeah, the car mode overall, I think, is pretty simple and nice. Again, Wheelie. And I don't know if Wheelie also has the same issue, but this guy definitely has some stability issues because the arms don't really plug in at all, as you can kind of see with this. And you could also have the Spear of Angerus chilling right there on top of the vehicle mode, which is kind of fun. Kind of very, very neat, whimsical thing. But unfortunately, if you have two of them, well, one of them's just going to have to be left behind. But overall, I do like this vehicle mode. It's got a funky little charm to it. Like, I guess, yeah, you can definitely tell that it's just like, you know, the robot mode folded in with the arms sticking out like that, folded, you know, like that. But regardless, it does pretty well for itself. And I'll be honest, even if, because like if I kind of squint my eyes a bit enough, like I can genuinely tell that this is definitely some sort of neat little vehicle. Like, I mean, this looks like it would be like the driver's seat, but I can't help but feel like this would be like an actual cockpit. You know, or maybe it's just me, or like it's some kind of special like cockpit where this opens up and you can kind of flip inside or whatever. And even the underside, as far as kibble is concerned, I guess the actual color, I guess it's probably the coloration of the legs. It kind of just looks like the underside of a vehicle, but yeah, no, this is definitely just the legs. But sadly to say, these wheels are not. They're not spinny wheels. They're solid. So, a little disappointing, but that's okay. Overall, I really, honestly, I really do enjoy the little Jet Jaguar, or the Jet Strike Iron Defender. He's very charming. He's a cool little dude, and it's honestly just a surprise that DNA Designs went out of their way to just remold a little, you know, Transformer figure to turn him into Jet Jaguar of all characters. Like, you know what? That's pretty good on them. I'm glad that they gave us, you know, something that I'm surprised, now that I think about it, I'm surprised Takara didn't go out of their way to make a Jet Jaguar, like an official Jet Jaguar Transformer. I mean, like, understandable. Like, there's a licensing, you know, collaboration between themselves and Toho, and they have to agree on, you know, what characters are being used, how they're represented, and all that stuff. That's a whole can of worms that I might get into later in this video. So, yeah, this was the Iron Strike Defender, but now we get into the real meat and potatoes. Alright, so I'm going to start with Kiryu Prime over here. We're going to try to apply the new upgrades. A brief little thing I just want to say. Honestly, out of the two figures of this collab, honestly, I think the strongest one might still be Optimus. The Kiryu Optimus here, because honestly, like the steel gray that they got going on, the face with the little red streaks, and honestly, the overall Laser Prime Gen 2 Optimus build works very well to kind of simulate, well, that Kiryu backpack. The shoulders, the driver passenger area of, you know, semi truck. It all works kind of well, honestly, in my opinion. But yeah, obviously we needed more, because let's face it, what's a Mechagodzilla without a little firepower? Alright, put this here and pull this. Oh, okay. Alright, so it looks like we got ourselves some instructions that we're probably gonna have to kind of go through, and oh boy. It wasn't as bad as the Tidal Wave one, if I remember correctly. And here we have all the individual pieces that are trapped inside the plastic clam. So let's go free these guys. Okay, these are a lot of pieces to go through. Okay, this might take me a hot minute. You get back in there. What are you doing in there? Get in there. Yeah, organize. So it looks like we have some different weapons and attachments that I'm going to assume are gonna be connected to the trailer. We got the wrist-mounted masers for Kiryu, and of course the big jetpack thing. Alright, let's get to it. Okay, you know what? Let's start with this. I understand that they gave us some new hands that are little articulated fingies that you can kind of just open and close like this, but I'm not sure if they're all that worth it, or really something you should put on, because quite frankly, even though these don't articulate, I think I prefer the little the built-in default silver hands. It kind of adds a bit of shine to it, and honestly, I think it's I think it's just fine. Alright, so we're pretty much going to start here with the Kiryu Prime knees. We're going to take his kneecaps, as we like to say here. This is another thing that I'm not too sure about, but honestly, I'm willing to try it out. I'm willing to give it a shot. So we're just going to pop these off. They fall off fairly easily. Because it is part of the transformation though, so I'm curious to see how this is going to change anything. Okay, so these are the new knee parts, which are a bit more reminiscent to Kiryu's actual knees. Installation should be super simple, as we just put this in here. Okay, it was just a matter of the angle at which I was putting this thing in. Basically, your mileage may vary, because quite frankly, the one on the, I guess, right knee, it's a bit tight. And I think it's because these knees are slightly different, because they do have slightly different shapes, but overall this should be pretty fine to, to have snapped on. Although I will say it is a bit more difficult to actually, like, get these to unpeg. So it looks like we have some back fillers for the calves over here. Now, I didn't really say this earlier, but I'm pretty sure this is very similar to a different upgrade kit that DNA Designs did for the same Laser Optimus Primal. The only difference I think now is they've added a little cool Kiryu parts to kind of make it more, Mechagodzilla-y. And a cool little thing that they did here is that they've labeled these pieces, so you know which one's left and which one's right. Alright, so I believe I want to get to this piece here. I'm gonna spread them out. And I believe you're gonna go right in here, which should fit pretty snugly in there. Yes. Oh, hold on. Enhance. Hold on a second. Alright, so mine basically just had a bit of excess plastic that kind of caused a bit of a challenge, but the old Jot had nippers put an end to that. And second verse, same as the first. Looking pretty good. This is pretty much, gap fillers, if your figure's being kind of hollow and having a bunch of gaps is something that bothers you. And now we move on here to the front of the legs, to the sides, for these side guns. And this one's just overall just super simple. It's just a simple 5mm peg port, I think. 5? Is it 5 or is it 3? I don't know. So basically, you put that in there and boom. Now you got some extra bulk to your Kiryu Optimus. And honestly, I kind of like it. It adds a bit of extra symmetry with the big shoulders. I like it. Alright, and now for the, I guess, wrist-mounted mazer? Wrist-mounted pew-pews. They're gonna go under this port here, so we can attach this right here. And plug it in like so. And now we've got wrist gun. And second verse, same as the first. And finally, to apply the classic Kiryu Type 3 backpack, which is honestly just super simple. Just like the others, you apply it back here. And it's got an additional little articulated arm thing that you can just go over here. Now I gotta say, even though he doesn't have, an alternate head, with all these extra armaments and added bulk, this is definitely a Kiryu Prime. And ultimately, as far as everything that I can see, this is good. This is pretty solid. Now, don't worry, we still have a bit more to go over, but this is pretty much it for specifically just a Kiryu Optimus. This is honestly really good. I like the extra bulk that they've given him, the side guns, the wrist mazers, the extra backpack basically to double up for even more firepower. But of course, we're far from done, because now we get to the JSDF trailer. Alright, so the instructions basically go over the, I guess, the super armor mode for Kiryu Prime here. So we're basically going to start with kind of taking this thing apart. As far as I can tell, we're supposed to just remove this. Yeah? Yeah. Now we're good. Okay, oil tanker clamp, remove, clamp, clams. Clam. Yeah, removing the gun up there, and then we pretty much fold this back in, and we turn this all the way around. I'd never realized that this is actually meant to be removable too, so okay, we remove this part too. I know we just gave you this little backpack here, Kiryu Prime, but we're just gonna have to take this off for now. And then we're gonna plug in this guy in here. Okay, I see where we're going. We're going for something very awkward. Now this goes up front here somehow? Somehow? Oh, there we go. That doesn't... Are you sure? That is not a good connection. What's okay, I think I got it, but this is kind of a weird, flimsy connection at best, if I had to be honest. We're gonna take this piece that you kind of had to like flip-flop open and close together. It's actually pretty simple. Just make sure you follow the path of the little pin hinges here. But yeah, this guy go right here into this port, and then you gotta flip this open. It does have a peg back here, and gonna kind of origami it a little bit. Now we should be back to where we're supposed to be, which means this one is going to want to go flip up like that. Yeah. And then this part that was connected to the hinge of this guy, we're going to put this funky little Y wrench looking dude in here. Come on. I believe in you. Do not make me a liar. There we go. You did not make a liar out of me. Okay, I am increasingly getting concerned about the structural integrity as we put this thing together. I'm just gonna believe and trust the process that this will somehow balance out in the end. This peg is gonna connect to here, and somehow this little pinchy part is gonna connect to this stack thing. Okay. Uh-oh. Red man down. Alright, and now we get this funky little piece, which is pretty much going to be like the arm handle thing that we're going to attach on the inside so that Kiryu Prime can actually hold on to something. This go in here, or any of these other ports on the insides of your tank, and just slide the handle in as best as you can, or in any way, shape, or form. And there we go. And I don't care about the cannon thing right now. It's bothering the hell out of me. And there he is. Full powered super mode Kiryu Prime. I'm not gonna lie, this thing's kind of ridiculous. Like, not to, be rude or, belittle and insult this thing or anything, but I'm gonna be real, I don't know if I'm really gonna be displaying him like this at all. I mean, it's definitely a fun little funky function that I'm probably gonna, have him be in a couple times, but, it just feels kind of silly. Which, let's be honest, silliness is pretty much the name of the game if it's literally just a collab of Godzilla and Transformers. Alright, in all honesty, I'm just gonna skip that whole battle station mode. That's kind of something I feel like, somebody else might be more interested in. I'm not one of those people, so let's go into vehicle mode now. Alright, so I'm only gonna go over the stuff that's more relevant that you need to know. Basically, you had to remove the little maser wrist... You know what I mean. The maser wrist guns, and you actually have to flip the knee joints, or knee caps, sorry, upside down. Huh, okay. Well, not flip them upside, you completely remove them, and then flip them. So, like this, basically. You flip them, remove them, flip them around, boom. So I'm gonna be real with you guys. I thought that the old kneecaps would have been kind of vital for the transformation, because it kind of keeps these in place, but honestly... No, it's kind of solid still. Like, sorry, I'm moving this around a lot, but no, these still kind of stay in place well enough, and honestly, a little jiggly, but not enough for me to, complain so far. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, this looks pretty cool, even though it's a bit extra. And why is that up? Okay, and then the words. The extra pew-pews make for really cool, exhaust stacks or whatever, and it just looks really cool. I like that. And the extra backpack goes on top of the, the car. Honestly, it looks cool as its own little, mobile defense turret. A little rotating. Alright, now for the trailer tanker. We basically are going to have to disassemble almost everything again. Now, the previous Mechagodzilla weapon pieces should fit in just fine in here. You just got to put these guys in first, and then you kind of got to wiggle around the other guys a bit. The one thing I'm still trying to figure out is what the heck were these things supposed to be for? Because at no point in the instructions are these relevant. I'm just gonna assume they were probably part of the Laser Optimus upgrade kit, the original one that DNA Designs did a while back. Now, if we did everything correctly, all of this should collapse in together just fine. Alright, moment of truth. Let's see. Oh, this go here, this go here. And this in here, and this. Yeah, I guess. There's a bit of a strain, and I feel like that's supposed to be on the inside. Alright, there we go. That is a lot better. I just had to push a couple things in there, but it's nothing too bad. Nothing strenuous, I think. I'm pretty sure this will hold out in the long run. So here we have the full assault Kiryu Prime. Optimus Kiryu. I don't care anymore. And this thing honestly looks so cool. Like, it's already beyond what we had beforehand. Like, with the extra backpack on top of the truck itself, and then the extra weapons here on the trailers, I decided to just use these as, you know, extra armaments for him. And sure, you know what? Rear missiles. Why not? Why, dare I say, why not? I will say the extra super mode is a bit much, in my opinion, but I guess that's kind of the point of, you know, a lot of these older Optimus toys, where there were, like, a cool super awesome mega mode where he's able to, you know, destroy his enemies. But, like, it works. It works because it captures that, you know, essence of, like, old Mechagodzillas, who are just walking arsenals that just bombard everything with just absolute destruction. Honestly, this is fine. This works. This kind of works for me. I gotta figure out how I'm gonna put that back in the cabinet, but that's an endeavor for later. You're currently watching Plastic Opinions. Plastic Opinions. Up next, this guy who tries too hard. And later, it's the folly of man. We'll see you around on the Holo Channel.
I cannot live another day without air conditioning.
Tomorrow's gonna be hotter.
Hotter?
Like yesterday.
Yesterday, you said you'd call Sears!
I'll call today.
You'll call now.
I'll call now.
Last time on Yu-Gi-Oh! GX.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Oh look, it's the Slifer Slackers.
What? Want to say that again? You want to repeat that? You fucking prick!
We have failed to learn the lesson. The price will be your soul. And now we are at the real meat of it all. This is the one that I, myself, and I'm sure plenty of people were excited and waiting for the most. So let's get into it. Alrighty then. There we go. That is some awkward foreshadowing. Concerning future prospects aside, look at all the goodies that we are all the cool extra parts that we're going to be applying to our boy to make him look like the true king of the monsters. Now, we are supposed to start technically in his dino mode, but I quite frankly feel like edging you for a little longer. Alright, before we even continue, we gotta talk about these goofy ass shoes. Basically, we got some extra gap fillers that we're gonna be using. Just like how we did things with the Mechagodzilla, we got left and right pieces. Alright, so these look like they were meant to be sort of a friction piece, where basically this part right here is supposed to hug the port, and this is supposed to squeeze against this, so it's gonna be a pretty tight fit. And yeah, second verse, same as the first. Now we move on to the forearms, these sort of wrist talons that are for the beast mode. We're going to be applying these new ones. Now this part here is going to require a bit of what I like to call the plastic surgery. We're going to get ourselves a bit of a screwdriver, and we're going to unscrew all of these holes. Oh, come on. Alright, 3 little screws got removed, which means now we get to pull this thing out. Alright, so this should be relatively simple. We remove this completely, and then we're just going to have to take this entire talons out, which I have no idea what we're going to do with it. Now we apply one of these new, more, I guess, Goji aligned talons And we gotta slide it somehow in here. Alright, there we go. Put it in here and just let it... I'm just gonna let it chill like that for a second. Now, from what I am reading, the instructions, we do put this back on now. However, only 2 of the small screws will be used. Yeah. So the baggie comes with these extra screws, as you saw earlier when I was foreshadowing some sneaky stuff. The instructions do tell you which one is which, so, but just to help you guys out at home, if you feel like, this one is for the left hand, and this one is right. Yeah? Wait, no, this is right. Why am I so bad? Okay, see, now we do this correctly. Alright, and there's pretty much one forearm done. He's already looking pretty big and scary with just one big right arm. And second verse, same as the first, and we got some big meaty claws. Now, I personally don't mind this modified, bucket helmet head version of Sludge's head, which makes for an okay Megatron. But DNA Designs was kind enough to surprise everybody with this new head sculpt. Let's put it in. Get out of the way. We're pulling him out of the Matrix. He must be free from... Yeah, folks, you're probably going to want to get yourself a part separator for this next piece. I think? Oh. Behold the anatomy of a weird Megatron skull. Where is the creator? And now, I guess I just gotta slide this in here. There we go. And now, we collapse this back in. You might feel a momentary discomfort. And yet somehow the head looks smaller for some reason, proportionally. I don't know why. I think it's literally just the width of the other one. Alright, well, I'm kind of done with the robot mode. Let's actually get into what we're really here for. Come on. So with Grimalock, we're going to have to do a bit of a surgery here. We're going to completely dismantle the head, basically. And now, in theory, we should be able to completely separate the head here. Alright, getting the part separator. Cooperate, and you might survive. Well, okay, I removed this, but I can't help but feel like this probably wasn't the thing I'm looking for. So go figure, I pretty much read the instructions completely incorrectly. We're gonna have to now start separating this guy now. Alright, so unlike the previous head that were all screwed together, this guy is pretty much all peg holes that I just had to use, of course, a part separator for. But now, onto this mushroom peg, we're gonna just slide this guy in here into a nice snug fit. This is the piece that I was looking for. I'm like, where is... Oh, wait, no, it's just a different head entirely now. Okay. This put in here... The instructions basically go into, like, super detail of, like, oh, here's how to put it together bit by bit. But honestly, you can kind of just separate it and easily put it back together. As far as I can tell. So if you get confused with the instructions, they basically tell you that they want this to be tucked in here, but that doesn't make a whole lot of sense because this has to be where you plug in the breath effect, right? So I'm just not gonna do that. Alright, now we collapse the neck in here like so, nice and squozen. And now we get the rest of the head that kind of just fell off on me. And we're just gonna do, everybody do the dinosaur. Collapsed in. Now, oh, that's looking good. Now, the instructions don't go over this at all, but I think it's probably because it's super obvious. We're trying to remove these little arms with some bigger Gojig arms. And it's honestly super easy. They're just ball joints that you can just pop off real quick. And of course, arm go in one way. Wow, that is a super tight fit. You gotta be careful. Oh, that is good. Ooh, that is satisfying. Oh, and they're fully articulated. Wrist, elbow, bicep. And then these little things that were just like, come on. Come on, man. I expected better from you, Takara. I expected more from you. I expect more from my man! Alright, this next part is all about the back. So we're gonna figure out how to put on pretty much all these cool Goji dorsal plates. let's go. So for this, the instructions tell you for the upper back here of his torso, we want to fold these back like so for the most part to kind of, oh, that's for later. Okay, to kind of just wiggle these in here so that these little pegs can wiggle their way into these sockets. So just kind of let physics do the work for you, and there we go, satisfyingly plugged in. So we have this piece here that we're going to kind of flip open as we did here. And then I believe these pegs here are going to collapse into these holes. And they should go in like so. And just hug this rear part of the tail. And I'll be honest, if all of this is just what we got with this Godzilla, you know, Transformer collab, I'd be kind of okay with it. I'd be fine. Like, it kind of fits the idea, you know, spikes, dorsal spikes, and kind of this chunky tail. Oh, but they gave us more. And now for the final piece of resistance. This plugs into here as such, and kind of just adjust accordingly how you feel. Oh. Now this is the Godzilla Transformer that I paid for. Or I guess more accurately, this is the Godzilla Transformer that we should have gotten in the first place. Thanks to the extra chunky, you know, legs and even bigger arms that are fully posable and a vicious, angry looking face, this is definitely a true collaboration of Transformers and Godzilla. Let's face it, that's exactly what we should have had to begin with. And let's be honest, we know, hell, we've already seen that DNA Designs is gonna be, you know, milking this freaking upgrade kit for all it's worth. They're already making recolors for every other color, every other version of Grimlock out there. So honestly, if you skipped out on this and you have your other Grimlocks, pick it up. It's gonna be fun. You're gonna have a good time. Alright, now before I put a cap on this video, because I've been doing this for like 4 hours now, we're just gonna do the little weapon stuff real quick. Right, there's an extra piece that I forgot about. So we have, you know, the big back plate and this little T thing that we're going to use. Ah, this just looks so cool. Using this as a shield and then using this as like a big sword drill lance thing. And I gotta say, I don't think I've heard enough people talk about how this just looks like the tail of the Dragon Sword from, you know, Power Rangers or, you know, Ranger. But regardless, it's so cool. Alright, look, this video has gone on for way too long. If you want my final thoughts on it, I don't know, maybe come back some other time in a different video. But otherwise, these were really good. I had a lot of fun. Now, get out of here. Shoo.